I got to be completely honest with you. I don't know if that Harden jersey's ever going back up there. I think y'all finally got your wish. I'm so disgusted with the Sixers, Harden specifically. It is deplorable. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. If you didn't see the game, we lost. We're down 3-0. I believe if there weren't so many things working against us and not in our favor, I would have got on camera and said that we will be the first team to come back 3-0. But there are so many different things going against us. I don't think it's possible. Do we win a game at all? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if we get swept, but let's just go down the list of everything that happened in this game, because there are so many different things, and I don't think there's one specific thing to hang your hat on. Oh, that's the reason why we lost. There is a plethora, and I'm going to tell you all the reasons right now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the like button just to help out the algorithms and all that stuff. And let's get into the shenanigans. First, basically 2 minutes of the game, right? I think it was Mikal that threw the lob, I feel like, because Lord knows we know it wasn't Spencer Dinwiddie, but that's not the hint of there. Lobs to Claxton, gets this man, this is going to be hard to do this video without cursing, but I'm going to try my hardest. Throws the lob over to Claxton. Claxton gets the ball, barely dunks it, because Joel Embiid does that thing where it's like he's trying to contest, but if he can't get up high enough, he like sets a screen in midair and then like tries to say, oh, you flew into me, when that's really knocking someone out the sky, but that's cool. Claxton finds a way to get the ball on the rim. He lands. He's hype. Joel Embiid has flopped on the floor because he got dunked on, so he wants to try to sell contact to try and get it reversed or whatever underhand tactics he tries to do. Claxton is out of this world hyped up, right? So he sees Joel Embiid on the ground, stares at him a little bit. Again, staring this time didn't get him a technical, but we'll get back to that later in the game. Stares him down, flexes a little bit, and then steps over him, right? Now, if you want to say stepping over someone is unsportsmanlike conduct, I think that is the biggest load of crap I have ever seen in my life. Playing the Sixers and someone steps over the Sixers, the Allen Iverson Sixers, someone steps over someone, and that's unsportsmanlike. Again, there's so many factors against us, but cool. This man Claxton steps over Joel Embiid, right? Call it what you want. I thought it was funny, but okay. So as he's stepping over Joel Embiid, Mr. Embiid decides to kick Claxton in the balls. There's no other way to word that. That's exactly what he did. I'm sure you've seen the highlights by now. You're living under a rock if you haven't. Hello, Patrick Starr. Just kicks Claxton in the balls. Claxton falls immediately. Joel Embiid continues to push him down and then stands up and starts cursing out the entire team. It was such a flagrant, no pun intended, assault on another human being that Jacques Vaughn had to run off the bench and hold everyone on the bench back from attacking him. Of course, Ben Simmons didn't do a thing about it, but that's not even there. It was such a... It's assault. It's assault. He's committing crimes. And you know what they did? Double tech. This man, Joel Embiid, kicked Claxton in the balls. And it's a double tech. Because Claxton stepped over him, so that's unsportsmanlike conduct. And Joel Embiid retaliates by kicking him in the balls and shoving him over and cursing at him while he's on the floor. That's a double tech. Look at what happened with the Draymond Green situation with Mr. Sabonis or whatever his name is. Look at any of these other instances in any playoff series ever where someone is kicking someone in the balls. He should be ejected. He should be thrown out of the game. Because if the roles were reversed, are you trying to tell me if Joel Embiid were to dunk on Claxton and step over him and Claxton were to kick at his balls, you're telling me Claxton isn't suspended? I've heard of superstar calls, but this is blatant favoritism. They don't want to punish Joel Embiid. There's some type of narrative. This is like professional wrestling where someone is being pushed and they can just do no wrong. It's like when Brock Lesnar is on a monster push and they've already decided he's winning the championship and he goes out there and like throws someone through a plexiglass window when the script says you just hit him with a chair twice. Homie's knocked out and concussed. We don't see him on TV for a year, but it's okay because he's getting a push. And that's just Brock Lesnar playing rough. It's the same thing here. Joel Embiid is assaulting people. But nothing gets called. For the rest of the game, there were countless instances where Joel Embiid is literally knocking people out. What about that play when he shoved Claxton out of bounds with his forearm into the front row? Not a single call. They called the foul on Claxton. How about the times where he knocks Mikal Bridges out of the sky anytime he goes for a layup? You want to wonder why they keep hoisting up threes? You know, honestly, I wouldn't go in there and drive either. If the Sixers are allowed to literally try to assassinate people on the way to the basket and there's not a call, I'm not driving to the rim either. And y'all know me, I am never, oh, the refs did it guy. I'm the last person to get on that wagon. But this is ridiculous. Clear biased officiating for whatever the reason may be. And the refs knew it. The refs absolutely knew it. We fast forward a little bit, and we're jumping around the story, but we'll get to all the key points. We fast forward a little bit. Joel Embiid is hurt because he's getting roughed up a little bit, flopping like a literal fish. I mean, there was this one time Royce O'Neill is trying to guard up on him and they make contact. I'm not talking about he runs into Joel Embiid and there's contact made. I'm talking about he's just guarding him like this. Puts his hands down here to brace himself because Joel Embiid likes to swing his elbow when he posts up on people. So Royce is just trying to protect his midsection. His fingertips touch Joel Embiid, and he flies onto the floor, doing somersaults and back handsprings. Foul on Royce O'Neill. But again, this man, Joel Embiid, can hit the ball off the glass and not get a goaltend called on him, can knock people out of the sky, can put his entire, like it's one thing if you dip your shoulder on the way to the rim, but to come in like this, that is insanity. How he gets away with it. There are times where he'll split the defense. He's got the ball cupped right here. Then he takes the other hand and like hooks the defender to get past. That's a foul. We fast forward. The refs knew that they were wrong for what they've been doing. So they decided, let's call it fair for a second. James Harden is at the point in his career, and I've been saying this for 3 games now, where he is incapable of moving laterally. He doesn't have that fresh burst anymore. He doesn't have the quick step. He doesn't have the first step. He's old. And what do old people do when they don't have their athleticism anymore? They get to fouling. Anyone who plays any form of recreational basketball, whether it be with your friends or you're in a league or something like that, knows when you're going up against someone who used to be athletic but they ain't got it no more, they're playing football at this point. This man, James Harden, can't get past people, so he, a lot like Embiid, elbows people to create space. And again, if you're playing legitimate bully ball and you're throwing the bows for positioning and stuff like that, I'll give it to you. But a flagrant, again, no pun intended, karate chop on someone when you're out there playing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's a foul. Again, Draymond Green will get demonized for things, but it's like if you like the player, if the thoughts and the narrative of someone is positive, all of a sudden the same rules don't apply. James Harden's hated by all, so he goes out there, elbows Royce O'Neill. It looked like in the gut. Some people say the balls, sure. Elbows him in the groin. Royce O'Neill keels over and falls on the ground. They throw James Harden out. Okay, we'll take it. We will absolutely take it. Harden was getting away with a lot of stuff. So we'll take it. James Harden's gone. The refs wanted to do right by us to one inkling of a degree. We will absolutely take it. Keep in mind, it is a back and forth affair. There was no part of this game where it felt like it was getting away from a certain team. It was competitive the entire time. We were in it. They were in it. It was anyone's game to lose. Now we get to Jacques Vaughn. This man, Jacques Vaughn, has in his mind that he can only play 8 players. He's been like this for about 2 months now, where there's something in his mind that, like, kinetically can't bring himself to play more than 8 people. So after being badgered and lambasted and called upon and called out and slandered and whatever you want to call it by everyone in Nets world, beat writers, fans, his mom, anyone, I'm sure his own beard had enough. It was looking up at him like, yo, you gonna put Cam in? Cam Thomas gets to play. End of the first quarter. Cam Thomas plays for exactly 30 seconds, turns the ball over because you have him playing point guard, which I feel like we've discussed on multiple occasions is not where he should be playing, but is what it is. Turns the ball over, attempts a shot and misses it. They swung the ball over to him with like 0.3 left on the shot clock. So it was like a turnover because it was a shot clock violation. Again, we're talking about a 30-second sample size for someone who basically hasn't played in a full week. So after 30 seconds, he goes back to the bench. Second quarter starts. Cam Thomas is out there. Cam Thomas starts to produce. Gets Claxton involved. Starts getting some buckets here and there. Has a 6 step back on Harden. He's playing pretty well. But what I noticed was while Cam Thomas was out there, and Daron Sharp was getting minutes as well, I noticed Seth Curry didn't play. And I was wondering where Joe was too. Because Jacques Vaughn's thinking is, I can't play more than 8 people. How can I do that? How can I take advantage of all the talent I have on my bench? Why do that when I can just play 8 people? And he thinks in his mind that letting Cam Thomas play maybe 15 minutes, and that might be me giving him a lot. Maybe it was 10. The bare minimum of minutes that you would give to Seth Curry, you just gave to Cam Thomas with the exact same game plan. And he thinks, I did my job. What more do you want from me? Now, letting Cam Thomas play, we'll take it. Thank you very much. But the job's not done, bro. The job's not done. If your mentality, and again, Jacques has gone on 3 games in a row with the exact same game plan. Triple team Joel Embiid, hope no one else can score, even though they're all capable scorers. We've lost in the same way 3 games in a row, but Jacques has the same defensive philosophy, but he has the same offensive philosophy as well. You want that? How many times did we hear the announcers, and some of y'all were watching on Yes, for everyone else who's not in New York, we had to watch on TNT. We heard at least 30 million times Jacques Vaughn wanted the Nets to attempt 53s. Number one, Jacques is this 2K? That has to be a joke. You want them to attempt 53 pointers? But let's pretend like that's a realistic game plan, right? He wants them to attempt 53 pointers. If you want them to chuck up 53s, you should have your 3-point shooters out there while still using everyone else you have. Oh, but Sever, you said Seth Curry's just gonna get cooked. Oh, absolutely. But you have to use your weapons. And okay, I'm not taking up for Seth Curry. I'm not saying he should have been out there, but I'm saying use your weapons. You know who else at one point was the leading 3-point shooter in the league on catch and shoot threes? Watanabe. Put him out there. I'm saying use the things you have at your disposal. Has Sumner not proven that he can shoot threes as well? You want 53s, but Joe Harris can't play, Seth Curry can't play, Sumner can't play, Patty Mills can't play, Duke Jr. can't play. All these individuals can't play, but you're going to put Day'Ron Sharpe out there and give him meaningful minutes. Again, what is your game plan? And all these individuals I named can play. There's no rule that says you can only let 8 people play in a game. But Jacques Vaughn doesn't think like that. His mentality is, I can only let 8 people go out there. They want Cam Thomas, we'll put him out there for a little bit. But you saw he couldn't even stick to his own game plan. Because after the second quarter, we don't see Cam Thomas again for the rest of the game. He couldn't help himself. He throws Joe Harris out there. And again, this isn't a part of a new rotation of bench players to try and give people rest and try and give other people like different types of looks according to an offensive philosophy. This is Jacques Vaughn just going back to whatever his original game plan is. He says, I let Cam play. He was productive. He scored some points. Okay, I'm done. I don't have to do it anymore. I did what you asked. Joe Harris, go out there. And Joe Harris proceeded to clank and miss everything he threw up because it's the playoffs, and that's what Joe Harris does. So when that doesn't work, does he put Cam Thomas back out there to continue the scoring output when we need scoring? Absolutely not. We go right back to this 7-person rotation. So at the end of the game, when players are exhausted and are making brain-dead decisions, it's because they're tired. You're only playing 7 people. And it went down to 6 because of what I'm about to tell you. Later on in the game, Claxton has another dunk on Joel Embiid, and Claxton looks at him and flexes. And he's given a second technical, and he's thrown out the game. Again, Joel Embiid kicked Claxton in the balls, shoved him down, stood over him, cursed at him, and that was one tack. But Claxton looked in his direction and flexed and he's thrown out of the game. You can get a technical foul for looking at someone. You can get a technical foul for flexing. You know, through microtransactions on 2K, you can unlock the same type of celebration. So what could Claxton have done differently exactly? He makes a crazy, embarrassing poster dunk on Embiid for the second time in a row. So if Embiid's here, he has to look like this and just walk away like a robot. Is that it? Because I've seen Joel Embiid on multiple, in fact, in this game, slaughter someone and stare them down, no call whatsoever. But Claxton was ejected from it. Now again, you look at all the other narratives of any other playoff game. You feel some type of way about, should we suspend Draymond Green because how are the Warriors going to win? Like all these specific aspects of a game. The same thing went in account with Joel Embiid. When Joel Embiid should have been thrown out in the first quarter, in the first 3 minutes of the game, one of the reasons why they probably didn't do it is because they didn't want to upset the balance of power, because it would have been a clear dub for Brooklyn if Joel Embiid's not out there. But they don't think twice about throwing Claxton out of the game. Now we don't have a center. And again, what does Jacques Vaughn do with this information? We go from a 7-man rotation to a 6-man rotation. No one else gets to check in. No one else gets a crack. No one else gets a shot. We go down to a 6-man rotation. The only thing I will give him is thank God he let Finney Smith play more than 5 minutes tonight, because we needed it. But now Jacques Vaughn is down to a 6-man rotation. Again, you got all that talent on the bench. Individuals who are known for their defense, who are known for their three-point shooting, who are known for being energizers. They don't get to sniff the court. And again, even if you don't want to look at individuals who haven't played, we haven't seen Cam Thomas since the second quarter. And it's not like he played bad. He played well. Did he play too well? Was that the issue? So we get to the end of the game. Back and forth affair, tie game. Tyrese Maxey hits a super clutch 3. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We'll skip right to the end because I don't want to make this video too long. Spencer Dinwiddie has the ball. I believe it's a 2-point game. 2-point game. We don't need a 3. We don't. And Jacques Vaughn was implementing his thing again where he just wants them to hoist up 3s. Spencer said, this ain't working. Let's drive to the hoop. Okay. Okay. There's barely any time left on the clock. What I'm thinking is Spencer's going to kick the ball out to someone or like do that little like slick pass where like someone's cutting in the back door for an easy dump or something like that, right? That's what I'm thinking he's doing. But this man, Spencer Dinwiddie, with Mikal Bridges coming to life, with Cam Johnson stepping up and doing his job offensively. Again, offensively, because I don't know what Cam Johnson does defensively exactly. For someone who is touted as this 3-and-D assassin, I don't see much defense coming from him. Every time I look at him, he's getting scored on by Tobias Harris. I don't see where that defense comes into play, but I'll back off because at least he's scoring, right? Finney Smith just hit a really clutch 3. You got options. Royce O'Neill is still out there, which we'll get to him in a second. He says, nah, I got it. Runs in the paint. Blocked by Embiid. I might not have done the best job setting it up as far as a story, but if you watch the game, you remember how demoralizing that play was. Because it's like, Spence, hero ball from you is nuts. I think he was feeling himself because he had drove like earlier in the post off PJ Tucker and got a foul, so maybe he thought he could duplicate it. But again, the idea that Spencer Dinwiddie thinks that's his decision and his call to make is beyond me. And I'm normally all for having confidence and trying, and especially if you're going to drive to if you drive to the rim, I'm the last person to get mad at you for it. But when we've got plenty of options and you just put the team on your back, put your head down just to get blocked, Spencer, you just can't throw the game away like that. Not with all the trash talk he spews. You got to be able to back it up. And again, Spencer's been playing terrible offensively and defensively. Honestly, the only thing he's doing is facilitating, to be quite honest with you. And I thought in that moment, that was going to be the reason why we lost. But as luck would have it, we get another opportunity. I can't remember how it happened, but PJ Tucker's on the line. He misses the first shot, hits the second shot. We don't have a timeout of any kind. I can't remember how we got to this point. Was it the PJ Tucker miss that led to Spencer Dinwiddie driving? I can't remember. I just know it's the literal end of the game, right? End of the game. There's 8 seconds left. We're inbounding the ball. It was pretty obvious we were going for the three because, again, driving didn't seem to be working. It was pretty obvious we were going for the three. Royce O'Neill is trying to inbound the ball to Mikal Bridges. Now, again, whatever the game plan was, Jacques Vaughn had to have drawn something up. And even if he didn't, in practice, I know that they have prepared themselves for a late game situation like this, where they have options of plays and things they can run. You cannot convince me that team, especially when it's the same 6 guys that close the game every night, have not been in this situation in practice where there's 8 seconds left, you need a 3 to tie or win. I know they've practiced this. Mikal jukes to get open, fakes out his defender, and apparently Royce O'Neill. And Royce O'Neill throws the ball towards the opposing basket. I don't know if it was Melton or whoever was on the Sixers who got it, dunked it, game's basically over. When they cut back from commercial on TNT, we were watching Spencer Dinwiddie attempt a 3, miss terribly, and the game is over. Now, in my time as a Nets fan, there have been 3 specific playoff losses from each year that's hit me differently, that demoralized me. Again, this is probably the first game in any series I've covered so far with the Nets to where I was standing up, screaming and cursing at my television because I was that into the game. But there are 3 instances so far, not including this one, that have left me speechless with my jaw on the floor, where I just feel helpless. In the bubble, when Joe Harris fumbled the ball, loses the possession, we lose the game, get swept. The following year, when Kevin Durant takes the three with his foot on the line. Last year, game 1 against the Celtics, where all we had to do was just play defense for like 2 seconds. And Jason Tatum hits the layup and we lose. After Kyrie flicked off the entire state of Massachusetts. Tonight we add a new one. That Royce O'Neill turnover. That one's going to go in the memory bank of just playoff times where it hurt when we lost. This is going in the memory bank. Now, again, some people might blame this loss on Royce O'Neill. I don't. It was a stupid turnover, but I don't blame it on him. Royce had a pretty decent game up until then. I don't blame it on Spencer. Well, Spencer Dinwiddie can share some of the blame. I actually don't think I can save Spencer here. Spencer's been playing terrible. So Spencer's definitely getting a share of the blame there. Jacques Vaughn's got to get some of it because Jacques and his rotations and offensive and defensive schemes. Again, this is game number 3 where he has had the exact same strategy and has expected a different result. It doesn't matter that Joel Embiid only scored 14 points. If everyone else on the court is wide open, what are you going to do? Like, you have to make, it's not working. You held him to 14 points, and we still lost. Your plan's not working, Jacques. The team as a whole has to take some of the blame because getting out hustled for rebounds from PJ Tucker is just unexcusable when we have a team of hard-nosed veterans and role players that have been to the finals. And you can't out-rebound PJ Tucker. Inexcusable. The officiating. The way they just threw Claxton out and the way they let Joel Embiid get away with assault. It goes everywhere. That's why I don't have the spirit and I don't have the energy to get on here and say, well, it was a close game. That means there's a chance. If there was any game in this series that it was possible that we could win, it was this one. Whatever they do from here on out is just icing on the cake. Do they get swept? I don't know or care. I got to be honest with you. I don't know or care. Because this is that one. This is that one that just encapsulates the whole season. But this is the thing I'm concerned about. Damian Lillard was sitting courtside. There's speculation that maybe we're going to try to acquire him. Maybe he wants to finally get away from Portland. Hey, I can't speak to that. But what I can speak to is I am unsure of the direction of this team. I know y'all don't like to hear when I speak about this, but with other teams, even if they come up short, there's a clear future and a clear direction with what they have going on. Look at the Knicks. If they lose to the Cavaliers, you've got a clear star in Jalen Brunson and a supporting cast of just dudes. Give that more time, they're going to be scary someday. The Hawks. They might be getting slaughtered by the Celtics right now, but they've got something they can build on. They just got a new coach. They acquired like 2 players at the trade deadline. This is their first year with DeJounte Murray, and Trae Young is having a horrible season. They can bounce back and figure something out. They have something to build on. Us, with the fact that there is a clear agenda against Cam Thomas, you see a bright future for him on the team. I see a bright future for him on the team. But if our coach and the organization don't, you can't factor him into the future. So we have to pretend like Cam Thomas doesn't exist. I don't know how far a starting lineup of Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Spencer Dinwiddie, Royce O'Neill, and Claxton's going to go. Claxton is only going to get better. I don't think this is peak Claxton, and even if it is, this is pretty good. But what more can Mikal Bridges do? Do you look at Mikal and see a high ceiling? Because I'm looking at the max. I think he is a star. I think he deserves the accolades. I love what he's doing. I love the toughness. I love that he plays defense and all that stuff. But I see a clear ceiling with him. I don't look at him and say, wow, give him a year or two, he's going to be... No, that is probably who he is. He's already got the minutes. He's already got the entire game plan structured around him. What more can he do? Spencer Dinwiddie, this is as high as he's going to get. You can't look at Spencer Dinwiddie and say, oh, 2 more years, he'll defend. No. That's it. This is who he is. This is what you're getting. That's why when we blew the team up, I was saying, build around Claxton and Cam Thomas, and at least there's a future. We've seen from a full season's worth, if you say stop the DeAndre Jordan shenanigans, stop the competition with Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond and all that, give Claxton the keys, give him a larger role, and look what's going to happen. I'd argue to say snub for Defensive Player of the Year. Next year, let's get him more involved offensively, and look what more he can do. See, there's potential to grow with Claxton. With Cam Thomas, give him a bigger role. Actually commit to him coming off the bench. Or actually commit to him starting. And watch what he does. What more of an opportunity can we give to Mikal Bridges that we haven't already done? I'm not saying get rid of Mikal. I'm saying when I look at this team, I see the ceiling. I see the cap of what this is going to be. I think changes need to be made. And I think we need to really consider whatever they do in this offseason. Either go get that alpha or pick who on the team is that guy. If it's Mikal Bridges, again, I don't see what more we can do to get him to elevate his game higher than what it already is. And that's not an insult. Mikal is very good. I don't know what more he can do that he hasn't already done. But if you say he's that guy, then so be it. We live and die by Mikal Bridges. Instead of Spencer Dinwiddie running into the paint for the last second hero ball, heave-ho, Hail Mary, whatever you want to call it, give it to Mikal and get out the way. We'll live and die with that, if that's the plan. But with the team constructed as it is now, and the way Jacques Vaughn is using these pieces, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. Something's got to give somewhere, and something has to improve. Spencer Dinwiddie, Cam Johnson. I hate saying this because I see what he does, but in the interest of improvement and what you can get for people, Finney Smith, Joe Harris, Patty Mills, Day'Ron Sharpe. Those are 6 individuals who cannot be on the team next year. I'm sorry. Because this is the team and this is the series where we actually have a chance if we're talking matchups. I'm starting to understand why some of y'all were so attached to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Because I wasn't there. I wasn't there for the old glory days of the D'Angelo Russells and stuff like that. But this is how it ended for y'all back then in, 2019? And you were looking at another year of mediocrity. It was fun. It was cool. You were gritty. But how far were you getting with that exactly? I'm starting to understand it now. And while I don't agree with blowing it up again, I think we've got great pieces. There needs to either be a moment where everyone understands Mikal is that guy, get out the way, surround him with real supporting talent, or go get a dude who wants to be here and is not afraid of a challenge. Because this series right here is it's just painfully obvious where we lack. If something happens with Claxton and our backup center is Royce O'Neill, that's a clear issue. Get Royce out of here. If Cam Johnson is supposed to be this 3-and-D dude and all he does is hit mid-range jumpers and he don't do nothing else, get him out of here. There are a million people that play defense and shoot threes. That is the most common thing to find nowadays. That is the basic generic archetype of a basketball player in 2023. Go find someone that actually does both. It's not that hard. I understand, the Twins. I understand he's friends with people, but do y'all want to have a collection of buddies that get swept in the first round every year, or do you want to win? Get Johnson out of here. Joe Harris, it's been time for Joe Harris to get to stepping. I don't care if he's the longest tenure net. You didn't have that energy with Karras. You didn't have that energy with Jared Allen. Get Joey out of here. How many more times does he have to choke in the postseason? Get him out. Spencer Dinwiddie, we don't even need to have that conversation. Get him out. I wouldn't mind Finney Smith staying. But if we're talking about getting help to help Claxton play defense and hit an occasional shot, Finney Smith don't post up. Finney Smith can't do nothing offensively but occasionally hit a three. And then on defense, he might be helping down low, but where's this perimeter defense I've been hearing about? I ain't seen it once. Get him out. Get him out. Game 4. I won't be surprised if we lose and get swept, because I think Jacques Vaughn is going to try the exact same thing again, and we will lose in the exact fashion. The only chance we have is Joel Embiid is legitimately hurt and they give him rest or something like that, or James Harden's hurt too. If Joel Embiid rests, we got a chance to at least win one game. But if Joel trots his big self back out there and Jacques Vaughn's going to do the exact same game strategy, this is a sweep. We're probably done. And even winning a game is just avoiding the inevitable. But personally, I've seen all I need to see from this series, and I've learned all I need to learn from this series. Let me know your thoughts down below. Saturday's video is going to be a little bit late, but something tells me we won't have much to celebrate. See y'all Saturday.